Let's take a look at an equation that we were not able to solve before because we would wind up with a square of something be a negative number. And we would be saying, well, that's not possible because if the number is positive, when you multiply it by itself, you will get a positive answer. If the number is negative, you multiply it by itself, you also get a positive answer. So there's no way for an equation x squared equals negative number to have a solution. But with introducing the imaginary unit, you can now expand it to also what called complex numbers. Let's take a look at the specific example. We've got x squared plus 58 equals 0. The first step to use what we call the square root property is to isolate the square of the unknown on one side and the other, it would be some number. And in order to do that, we're going to subtract 58 from both sides. Now, that's going to cancel it here. And then we're going to wind up with x squared equals negative 58. So again, remember that this equation has no solution when you talk about real numbers. However, if I try, let's just try to take the square root of both sides. Let's do that. We're just going to apply square root. Now, on the left-hand side, square root and square cancel each other out. So that's just going to be x. But on the other side, you got this weird square root of negative 58. If you try to use your calculator, the calculator is going to say that's undefined. I don't even know what that is. However, with the introduction of imaginary unit, which says that square root of negative 1 is this mysterious I, okay? Then what you do is you could just pull the negative outside of the root, okay? So just take it like this and then just pull it out. And then as you pull it out, it becomes I. Okay, so I'll get I, and then under the root, I still have square root of 58. There's really nothing else there. And that would have been it. And you'd be like, oh, great, well, I solved it. However, with the square root property, you always have to remember that you don't just get a positive root, but you have plus minus. Because when negative is multiplied by itself, the answer doesn't change. I can actually put plus, minus, and nothing is going to change, okay? It's still going to be a solution. So you've got two solutions. You got square root of 58i and negative square root of 58i.